Here's the first antique camera I'm going to show you. This is the Kodak 2D whole plate. They made these from 1921 to 1950. And in this video, I'll tell you why I got it, of course, and then I'll show you how everything works. But before we start, if you know anything about old lenses or how to restore a wooden camera, make sure to leave a comment because I still don't have a lens for it, and some things on here are a little creaky and not exactly working right, so I got a big project ahead of me. So first off, I got this camera because I was interested in doing alternative processes like platinum palladium printing and wet plate collodion. So for that sort of thing, you need something nice for doing contact prints or just having the glass negative that's a nice decent size. And 4x5, it's a little bit small. 5x7 is a little bit nicer. 8x10 is pretty good, but then the cameras are kind of a little bit too much to deal with. So I thought whole plate, which is 6.5 by 8.5, was it hit the sweet spot, I thought. The one major downside of whole plate is that nobody regularly makes sheet film in this size anymore. You can only get it in Keith Canham's special order program. He sends out a call for orders in July, and then Ilford delivers your film in September or so. You can get FP4 plus or HP5 plus, so you can pretty much get your yearly supply if you know how much you're gonna need. The nice thing about shooting odd formats these days is that you can get dry plates now from J-Lane Pictoriographica, so that helps a lot with the whole not being able to get film in your size problem. As for why I got the Kodak 2D specifically, it's because I wanted something that had a lot of extension for doing close portraits, but I also wanted to be able to take it out in the field, so I wanted something that folded up in a more manageable size. So I thought the Kodak was a really versatile camera that covered all the bases. As for the camera itself, it's built beautifully. Although it is getting kind of old and the knobs are kind of squeaky, and it definitely needs to be cleaned up and relubricated. I could use a new pair of bellows too. But I think once it's been fixed up, it'll really work nicely. So keep your fingers crossed. Let's see. I'll show you the front standard first. So here, this knob loosens the front focusing, and then the knob on this side, on the right side, brings it forward and backwards. If you go backwards too fast, it kind of binds a little bit, so you just have to hold it. You just have to press forward a little bit if that happens. And then these knobs here are for the front rise. You loosen this one, and then this one lifts it up. It's geared, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's a little creaky and rusty, so and squeaky. So it might might be better after I clean it up and put some grease in there or something. Plus it's kind of jerky and stuff, so maybe the teeth are getting too worn down and I need to replace parts or something. I don't know. It's gonna be very interesting to get this all fixed up. On the front, you can put in a lens board the usual way. Just slide it in the slot, and then you move this to the side to bring it down. Yeah, this is kind of tight. I'm not sure if this is the way it's supposed to be. But maybe I'll have to fix it up nicely. So there's no swing or shift on the front standard, so if you need that, don't get this camera. But it's kind of neat how all these movements and stuff are geared. So on the back, you've got these knobs here for doing the focusing. It's kind of tight, but I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like that, but might be able to fix that. I'm not sure. Let's see. It's really neat how this camera has axis tilts that are geared. Don't really know any new cameras that have geared axis tilt on the back standard. On this side, it has a level, so it's pretty cool how they designed levels back then instead of having the bubble levels like they do nowadays. But that's pretty cool. So it also has knobs on the bottom for geared swing. So this loosens it up, and one on this side turns it from side to side like that. This knob is actually pretty smooth, so there's hope for all the other movements, I think. And here on the back, I'll show you this way. So you can see that the whole plate is actually a pretty nice, decent size. If you want something to compare, you just get an iPad if you have one. And it's like a nice handy size, I think. So if I'm coating lenses, I don't have to stretch out my fingers a lot like I would with 8x10. And I think it would be easier to do. Plus it's a nice size just for like portraits, because this is basically the size of your head. So yeah, whole plate is like pretty good size for portraits, I would say. Let's see, to rotate the reversible back, there are these tabs up here with pins inside. You lift that up, and then you put the little pins back into these little holes on the slots, and then you just press it back. This back, it doesn't have the slides for roll film, so if you wanted to do panoramic photos, like, I don't know how big that is, 6 by however many centimeters. If you want to do that, you're out of luck. Let's see. I can show you how to put on the extension now. You have this slot here, and there's like a turn key there, and there's a little lip on these metal tabs that go into these little slots. So tilt it up and get it seated properly like that first. And then, let's see. Is it in right? No, I don't think it's in right. Okay, there we go. And then you can press it in and then turn it. And then after that, you can bring your standard back onto the extension bed. If you measure the whole thing, it's 27 inches, and just for the double extension, that's 15.5 inches. To bring this forward and fold it up, it's pretty easy. So let's just crank this on back and then go over the little bumps there. There's like a little bump here that this the metal little metal tab or something that has to ride over it. So it's like a little, yeah, there's a little bump where you'll need some resistance. And you'll want to get this lined up with the back. There's a natural stop that keeps it from going over. And then here, let's move this back onto the front. This little metal carrier has to slide in underneath this metal piece here, so it gets a little tight there. Oh, I forgot to show you. This sliding thingy, when you lock down the front, it still wobbles a lot because it only locks from the sides instead of vertically. So this carrier sort of wiggles around front to back. So it's not exactly the most rigid design here, but the bed itself is pretty sturdy, I think, for an old camera like that. If you're doing landscapes, you'll be protecting this from the wind with an umbrella anyway, so I don't think it'll be that much of a problem. A lot of other people have said that's perfectly okay. Okay, so let's get this back onto the little baseboard thing. Yeah, you just gotta be a little bit aggressive to get this all the way back. Okay, there we go. And then here, got another turnkey, and then it folds up and it goes into the little tab right there. It's a little bit sort of clanky and stuff like that. It doesn't fold up very tightly like I wish it would, but I don't think it'll be too bad to carry this around. It seems like a decently compact, I think. So this could fit inside a foam padded case or something, I think. And yeah, it seems all right. So it's kind of big on the bottom, but all these measurements up here and at least up to this point are pretty small. Yeah, a new camera wouldn't have all of this stuff. It wouldn't have this monorail part or all this stuff on the bottom. Tripod block like helps you recenter it when it's at full extension. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting thing about the Kodak 2D. It's sort of like the same concept as a folding monorail or an extensible monorail like a Cinar or the Arca Swiss cameras. So it's kind of like this is a monorail, even though it's sort of kind of more like the wide angle field cameras they make these days, where it has like just a short little focusing bed and things like that. So pretty cool camera, I would say. Yeah. So overall, I'm really impressed with it, especially since you can get these for like $150 to maybe $250, at least in the whole plate and 5x7 and 4x5 sizes. If you want an 8x10 2D, that's like nowadays it's like $700-800 or something, which is a lot more than it used to be. I'll tell you that for sure. So I think after I restore it, it'll work much more smoothly. I'll let you know how that goes. And if you know anything about how to restore it, leave a comment. Be sure to leave a comment. It would be very helpful. I appreciate that a lot. And if you have any lens recommendations, like 10 or 12 inches for the landscape lens, and like 15 or 20 inches for the portrait lens. If you have any recommendations, leave a comment down below. So that's it for this week, and I got like really only 2 more antique cameras to show you, so we're coming up to the very end, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching and have a good week.